Good afternoon. This is or at the end. What you have when you have in front of you now is the screen when you first log in. Obviously, you put your password and username. The area that I want to concentrate on today is an overview of the various products within ESS BIZTOOLS. So by going to the products area, we can see that. The various activities that we have listed within the product. Obviously, the new product which we're starting to launch the special webinars on Wednesday is Business Advisory Services, and there'll be more material being placed progressively onto the website over the next 8 weeks, which will cover the first 10 products of business advisory services that we're introducing. The first area I want to go today, though, is the client mentoring and coaching modules. So you click on that heading, and that is bringing up 13 client mentoring and coaching modules, 12 of which are currently in operation. We're updating the government assistance ones, which will be sorted out in the next month or so. The whole idea of the client mentoring and coaching modules are to give you a suggested package of material that you can send to a client to better inform them of what a particular process is all about. There's been a number of surveys undertaken by people like MYOB and various universities that have all highlighted that small medium enterprise operators in Australia and New Zealand are wanting their accountants to be more proactive in supplying business advice to them. So quite unashamedly, we are producing the material within ESS BIZTOOLS to give you the tools to be able to offer Chief Financial Officer type services to your clients. So the first mentoring and coaching module we're looking at is purchasing or commencing a business. Obviously, this is someone who is probably new to management. They may have had a business previously. They may have come out of a government or a large business job. And we're assuming they've made an appointment, they've come along and talked to you, and they've told you that they're thinking about buying a business. Now, what happens in most cases in Australia or New Zealand when that happens? They have a discussion with the accountant and off they go. But what do they get sent to them? Well, we're proposing that you would download the material which we have here as in the first series. So we'll download this in the system, and that you would send that to them separately so that they can start educating themselves. It's our philosophy that accountants have got a responsibility to try to help their clients survive in business. The failure rate is still far too high, and probably in lots of cases some people go into business that probably should never have gone into it in the first place. So we'll go through the process of, get rid of that, of opening these. So what we have there now is a whole series of material to do with the purchasing or commencing a business. So we'll go to this form here first of all, which is the letter. And that's a letter you can place on your letterhead. Obviously, you can edit this if you wish. And indeed, some of the words may need changing because the client in this case might not have decided to buy a business at this stage. But the letter is serving the purpose of explaining to the client why you are sending this material to them. And what you are trying to do is to better educate the client so that they will understand that accountants are there to supply them with a wider range of services than just preparing an income tax return. In my opinion, our professional bodies and indeed our whole organisation over the last 30 years has tended to concentrate on the compliance issues, tax and audits, without advising the clients on the business of viable services that accountants can supply to them. So what we have here is that we're going to send the client some papers, and I've got one of the papers on the screen there now, and hopefully you've already had the opportunity of going through and looking at some of the papers. So we won't go into the mechanics of how the papers are produced, other than obviously you can badge the paper with your name, address, telephone number, email address, web address, etc. above those lines, and in the installation kit it explains how to do that. What we also have to go with each mail out is a survey form which you badge with your firm name on and send to the client, and you're asking them to assess the usefulness of the papers you've sent to them, because what you're trying to do is to get a feedback as to what other areas they might like to have a discussion with you. And we have grouped some of these papers in the order they're in on a deliberate basis, because I found in my consulting experience there's been a lot of confusion with small business people who are inventing or developing new products. They, in some cases, spend a lot of money on research and development, and when someone like me or ultimately an accountant comes along, you have the unsatisfactory task of telling them, well, they should have been in a company if they wanted to get the accelerated tax deductions for all that research and development expenditure. So hopefully if the client is inclined to play their cards very close to their chest, and they're not giving too much away as to what they're doing, if they get this series of papers and they can read about the various corporate structures from sole trader through to companies, that the next paper in that series then is the research and development tax rebates for small companies, which at this stage is obviously the companies with turnovers under $2 million who are running at a loss, and they realise that they could claim a cash refund from the tax office within 30 days of lodging their tax return at 37.5% of their actual R&D expenditure. And hopefully they will realise from reading that paper that to gain this benefit they have to be a company. And obviously the government's got some major changes in those areas planned over the next month or so, because from newspaper reports the government has done a deal with the Greens to ensure the passage of the government's legislation for changes in research and development through the Senate. You might recall the government's been trying for the last 12 months to get this legislation through, and the Minister has announced that the new regime, which is 45% deduction for companies with turnovers under $20 million, operates from the 1st of July, so it's operating as we speak. And obviously our papers will be changed as soon as that legislation has received the royal assent. So that's the survey form, which we would suggest that you read very closely and really encourage your clients that you've sent these material to complete and send back to you, and because hopefully it's going to give you an indication of some of the other material that they might be looking for. and advice they might be looking for, because you've now alerted them. So if we go back to the main part of the menu, you can have a look at what else was in that module to go to someone contemplating starting a business. So we're proposing that these papers be sent to the client by mail or email over a 6-week period. Some of our accounting subscribers are printing these papers up and putting them into a nice little booklet format and sending them to the client. Others are emailing them. That's your choice. So in the second series, we're looking about assistance and have they got enough money. But there's another series survey form for them to complete. Week 3, what makes a business successful, hints on buying a business, and so on. Now it's up to you to judge your own client. If you think they'd read all this if you send it to them in one mail out, that's okay. In some instances, you may decide that the mail outs have to be done over a longer period than 6 weeks, but that's your decision. And obviously, you can download each series of mail outs at that time, so you don't have to download it all on one occasion. So within mentoring and coaching modules, we have grouped other papers into material to be sent to clients, such as introductory management, experience management, exporting, marketing, family businesses, etc., and getting investment ready. So there's a whole series of material there within client mentoring and coaching. A lot of new subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS ask me at times where they should start with getting the system used, and in my opinion, client mentoring and coaching is a great place to start. Indeed, one of our clients tells me that each year he goes through the client mentoring and coaching and sends selected papers out to particular clients and sends them a bill because they're always asking for the papers. They just do that once a year. We believe you should be charging for the information you're providing under client mentoring and coaching, and including that in the fee for advice that you're giving the client or the new business for starting off their business. We believe that the clients in the main will be very appreciative of receiving this sort of information, because they don't receive it from most other accounting businesses. The next area we wish to move into is to look at the Business Plus newsletter. Hopefully you're aware that a newsletter is produced each month, or every month bar January, although we produced one this year because of the problems from floods and cyclones and all over Australia. But normally there's no newsletter in January, but there are 2 extras in March, one on the federal government's budget as it affects SMEs, and the other one on end-of-year tax planning. So we'll just open up, this is the most recent newsletter. We call it Business Plus. So you have the newsletter there. You can, and we encourage you to change the articles supplied by ESS BIZTOOLS and put your own name and address there, because this is meant to go to your clients. We try to write an article about the economy and where SMEs fit within that economy. So you have that article there, which was on cash flows. We try to write the articles on the basis that they will encourage your clients to come back and ask you questions, and hopefully we'll commission you to do some work. So you'll notice the one on cash flow, we're asking the client if they want to discuss it with you to make an appointment for a meeting. We're talking about cash flow forecasts and budgets because it's obviously the time of the year. We're trying to encourage clients to work on the business. Trade-ex schemes are also important from an importer's point of view in their cash flow management if they're exporting the goods within the next 12 months. Banks are getting a lot tougher, and unfortunately I think they're probably going to get tougher. And the review of debt covenants is always an issue and will become more important for some of your clients. So we're highlighting the need for debt covenants to be reviewed. The recent decisions in the Federal Court on the Centro Properties case have highlighted the necessity for company directors to show a closer interest in the financial accounts. Now, whilst this was a significant public company that was the subject of the court case, we believe that the judge's comments will obviously apply to all company directors in proprietary limited companies as well as public companies. So therefore, we believe you should be encouraging your clients to make sure they do understand their financial accounts. And if they don't, there is another service that you can render them in utilising the papers within Section 5 on profit and loss accounts, balance sheets, ratio analysis, and obviously concentrating very carefully on what was the real issue in the Centro Properties case, and that was whether something was a current liability or a long-term liability. Now I have, as a consultant, have seen hundreds of financial accounts in the last 10 years that I've been operating as a consultant, and a significant number of them have really made no attempt to distinguish on loan repayments as to whether there's a current liability component or a long-term liability component. Invariably, they've just been left as long-term liabilities. Our suggestion would be that you've got to make sure that these things are properly classified. We've included comments on characteristics of a well-run business, and there's a full paper on characteristics of a well-run business in Section 6. The carbon tax announcement, we're really saying, well, there were some goodies in there for small business, and we'll be following that up with more detailed comment in next month's Business Plus, pointing out some of the problems that small medium enterprises are going to have. And if you check our website, you will notice there's a blog article which is drawing attention to some of the problems small medium enterprises are going to have with the carbon tax. For the last 4 years, we've been running a series on what's it mean, and this time it's the Ramalpa clause. I've had some people contact me, SMEs, who have read about Ramalpa clause and saying, what is it? Well, we've explained what it is there. And obviously, if you have a client who's selling goods that could be repossessed, it's a very important clause to include in the documents and in the tax invoice. And we've also been running a series for some time on business plans, where we've included a précis on some of the questions to consider on business plan. And this month we're looking at bank relationship. We then have this section, Attention Accountants. We're suggesting that before you send any of this material to your clients, that you copy it so you know which papers we're referring to, but then you put your own message in there. It might be you're running a seminar, it might be someone's had a baby, it might be that you're having your own webinar. Anything you want to put in there to promote it to your clients. The reason we have it there as Attention Accountants is to indicate to you some of the reference material that's contained within ESS BIZTOOLS that supplies additional information to some of the comments that have been made in this newsletter. So hopefully that helps you. And at the end, of course, we want you to delete the mention of ESS BIZTOOLS again and put your own name and logo there. So that's an overview of how Business Plus works. And I'll just go back now. What we're going to do now is to have a look at a workbook which is in paper 6.85. There's a form there and it's a workbook, and we'll just go there and pull that up so you can see how that works. Incidentally, if when you're using ESS BIZTOOLS you come across a subject that you are looking for within ESS BIZTOOLS and you can't find it, and you think we should have something in the system about it, please send us an email and we'll try to include it in our development program. Obviously, our virtually total concentration at present is writing the material for business advisory services. In lots of ways, we believe the papers, the forms, the checklists for the various business advisory services are already included in the system, but what we're writing is the various support tools, templates, to enable you to be able to use that material more effectively. So what we're going to here is the workbook on survival in difficult times. This workbook is forming the backbone of one of the new products to be included in business health checks, which we're calling Workshop Review, Business Workshop Analysis. But we'll just go through so you can see how this works. Over the last week we have updated all this material, so in a week or so's time this form and the paper will be changed, in that we've edited it to bring it up to date. It was written a couple of years ago. We're updating it. I thought I was going to get rid of comments about difficult times, but the more I read and I listen and I talk to SME operators and accountants, we've left a lot of the comments in about difficult times, because unfortunately I think we're going to see some more difficult times. I'm not very confident about what seems to be unfolding in Europe, and the American situation is of some worry. I don't really know whether the banks have sorted out the problems they had over there 2.5 years ago and in Europe. So what you have here is a tool that a number of our subscribers have used to run one-day or half-day workshops, and that's going to be the suggestion as to what you use it for within business advisory services. Whole idea is you can go through, and we've prepared a new checklist which allows you to identify which of the 33 questionnaires you wish to use with a client. One of the suggestions we're making is perhaps you set up an arrangement with the client to have a half-a-day meeting every 2 months to review various aspects of these questionnaires. It'll be a pretty full exercise to go through the full 33 questionnaires in one day. I think that would probably be a 2-day workshop, because you really want your client to sit and think about some of these things and to develop a very effective action plan with your help. So what we have here is the questions. You can type in the answer the client's telling you there and then. If you want more details at any time, you want to have a look at it a bit more, you can go back to the paper that was written first, and we then wrote the forms and the questionnaires. So there's quite a lot of detail in the paper. The paper is the same number, 6.85. And I think we were doing the financial accounts review, so that should now take us back. So you can click back at any time, read the paper, bring that to your client's attention. My recommendation would be that you make that paper available to the clients prior to the workshop. The fees that people were charging for these workshops varied from $3,000 to $5,000 for a day's workshop. I did hear that one firm was going to charge $8,000. There's a fair bit of work in all this and a fair bit of preparation time, but that's up to you to decide. Whatever you write in this final section will be recorded in the action plan, and so you review the report, and in the report what I just wrote in there, review in 1 month's time, has been recorded, so you can be progressively passing back all of the information that you want to go into the overall report. We have a questionnaire on banks and lenders, which is asking a range of questions about how the client is responding to the bank's covenants, how informed the client is keeping the bank of their progress. Do they need to have discussions with their bank about securing additional funding, etc. There's some questions about business strategies. Does the client understand what their unique selling proposition is? Are they offering outstanding services? Do they have brainstorming sessions, and so on? Do they demonstrate a can-do attitude? Might go back to the report, and then we might have a look at in the index, where you've got a complete list of the items that are in this section. So if we go to the debtors review, raises a whole series of questions on debtors. We have a debtors day outstanding calculator, so you're able to insert your client's annual credit sales figure, determine what the daily sales are, look at what his current debtors balance is, calculate how many days outstanding he's currently trading at. And what we have on the bottom there is a ready reckoner type calculator that will help the client determine based on their turnover levels, what their debtors days outstanding are and how much money should be owed as compared to what is the actual situation. And they might get a bit of a fright on some of those things. Then they can go back and complete that review document. We have a cash flow calculator. That one there is for a 5-week period, a month, for them to insert their cash flows. All the additions and carry forwards are built into the program. So you can download that to the client and they can use it. Pardon me. So that's the workbook. It has 33 questions in it, questionnaires in it, covering a whole range of matters to do with running a business. What we want to do now is go into seminars. Within ESS BIZTOOLS, there are 36 seminars which have been developed to assist accountants to deliver professional services. Obviously we have the number and the name of the seminar in brackets, how many sessions for how long each session we recommend that this particular seminar be presented under. When we first started this material and we were running these seminars ourselves, we had good small business acceptance to the concept that they would turn up for a 3-hour session in a seminar. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. were great times to run them. But over the years, the public's attitude has changed. I think time's far more important. And what we then found is the most popular seminars turned out to be the 1-hour seminars, and they're the ones that are numbered from 1,000 onwards. And they're all in one session. We do have a half-day seminar and 1-day seminar. I know some firms like to have an annual seminar for their clients, and we have a 1-day seminar procedure established to we'll go into characteristics of a well-run seminar so you can understand how it works. So this seminar has got 2 papers which are going to be considered. They're listed there, so when you go onto a seminar you can see what the seminar is going to cover. We now need to download that package, open it, so that what we receive is a whole package for each individual seminar. We have got a form which gives us hints on how to run a seminar. Now you can badge this, but I wouldn't be sending it to anyone other than your own team. But it's setting out some suggestions, some of which are pretty straightforward, on good practice, best practice for running seminars. If you've got any other procedures you use internally within your seminars, obviously you can add them to this form. But it's trying to give you an idea of how we think the seminar should be run, so you can read that at your leisure. There's also an explanation of the checklist. What do the various items relate to? Then we have a seminar checklist document. This is to be completed by the person in charge of the seminar, just to make sure that everything has happened. Now some of the items on here you might not have. For argument's sake, we've got there about sponsorship. Some people don't like the idea of getting sponsorship or don't know how to start it, but over the years we were successful in obtaining sponsorship for seminars from a range of businesses who wanted to have exposure through what we were doing, and they were very good partners in the seminar presentation. We've got registration form. This one here is for a multiple seminar. If you're running a few seminars at the same time, save the client having to complete numerous forms. Send them one that you've already edited to include the name, the date, time, etc. of various seminars. Hopefully they're all going to be at the one location, or this form won't work, and send that to them. Incidentally, on seminars, it's your decision whether you charge for them, but we do recommend you do so. Unfortunately, when you don't charge, some people don't bother turning up that have told you they're coming, but if you've charged them even only $20, $25, you get a far higher percentage of people who actually attend the seminar. So we've got other forms in there, like a venue booking letter. That's just to make sure you've booked the venue, even if it's your own boardroom. I've been in the embarrassing situation when I was running a seminar for an accounting firm in another city in Australia, and we turned up to run the seminar, and there were about 25 people there, and there were already about 30 people in the boardroom. They were running a Rotary Club Youth of the Year final selection night. A bit embarrassing. There was some quick reorganisation that had to happen. That firm just didn't have a diary controlling their boardroom. There's an invitation to a keynote speaker. You may decide to use a keynote speaker, someone from the insurance industry, legal industry, banker. If you're going to invite these people, always a very good idea to confirm in writing, so we have a form. So we've tried to think about everything in what you're receiving in the material. So there's thank you letters, there's a seminar attendee list. Then we go into the specific material that only relates to this seminar. What I've just touched on is generic. It applies to each of the 36 seminars. So you have a suggested timetable. So for this seminar, we're saying this is how we think you should run it. This one's only running for an hour, but you normally take 5 minutes to do the introductions. One of the papers was very short, steps needed to achieve business success and overview, and then characteristics of a well-run business, which I happen to believe is the best paper within ESS BIZTOOLS to give to SMEs, would take 45 minutes to present. So I wouldn't hand that timetable out to clients. The system is designed, there is another form which is next to this one where you can put in your actual times. It should only be for the person conducting the seminar so they can keep an eye on the time, just like I'm now looking at a clock here now as to how we're going today. There's a seminar registration form, there's a news release, media release. Over the years, we've received pretty good support from the media of all types, radio, TV, newspapers. Having trouble bringing that up. There it is. So there's a news release which obviously you can edit and place on your letterhead and send to the media in your town. Obviously you personalise it, put your name in there and what firm you're from, and tell them what you're doing. Now there's a draft there, you can edit it obviously if you wish, but in our experience what will happen, you are likely to get a phone call from the media who are then going to write their own story built around the information you've given them. And a lot of the media outlets in Australia are very interested in anything that's been done to help small business, because there's thousands of small business operators out there and they all buy newspapers or watch TV programs. And very quickly you can earn a reputation in your marketplace as being an expert on small, medium enterprise management, because you've been featured in a number of newspaper articles. And what you can also find is that the media start contacting you for a comment on what's the effect on some new initiative by the government, example carbon tax, on small business. Will you comment on that, please? So sending out news releases relative to seminars can assist you in obtaining that reputation. We've got an email broadcast document for you to send to your clients or other people on your marketing list. Incidentally, also, we're not really here to cover marketing today. How many prospects do you have on your marketing list? Especially for the marketing of business advisory services. We'll be talking in more detail in a couple of weeks' time when we're doing the business advisory service webinar on marketing. But I was watching a video produced by Rob Nixon the other night, and there was an accountant in the audience who had 2,500 prospects, not clients, prospects on his database. That's an amazing figure, and obviously someone that's working very hard to offer more than compliance work. So that's the email broadcast. Then what you have is the paper. So it's here, so there's no chance of you turning up at the seminar and finding you've got the wrong paper because someone in the office produced the wrong one for you. We've put them into these separate modules so that all you've got within this module is everything to do with this seminar. So there's that paper. You can go through it. It's paper 680. But we won't go through all that at this stage because this is an overview. And what you have also there, and again, no chance of turning up with the wrong ones, we have the PowerPoint slides. Just hit the hourglass and bring them up. You can put your logo down there on the bottom. The systems manual shows you how to do that. So you have the PowerPoints all ready to go to be able to be used to run this particular webinar. So we'll end that show and we will get out of the PowerPoint slides. So that's an overview of the way seminars work. We are producing some new seminars as part of business advisory services, and they'll be available within the business advisory services modules as well as within seminars. So that's something to be following through. We'll just have a short overview of where we're at on business advisory services. Our web designers are trying to work out whether we can have the business advisory services material in this segment where we currently are. One of our problems is we only want it to be able to be accessed by subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS, and that's something that's been sorted out at present. So what we've done in the interim is we are placing some introductory material about what that particular business advisory services content is, and these are the first 3 modules of business advisory services that we produced, and all this is links to papers. So where it's placed at this stage is in section 570, which is where we've now gone to. And we've included it in the same format as a paper. This is the, and I've jumped one ahead, so we'll just go back. So I meant to bring up 570.01 and I've brought up 570.02. So please just bear with me a moment and we'll just go I'll just go back to the main menu. We have 570.01, which is Introduction to Business Advisory Services. And obviously with every paper there's an introduction, précis, which is what we're just going through there now. We'll download this, and this is the material which hopefully we're going to be able to place in a new position on our website in the not too distant future. So what we have here is the Introduction to Business Advisory Services reproduced as a paper. And then we have forms that are the backbone of the business advisory services that we're referring to as business advisory service, BAS 1, 2, 3, etc. Hopefully you're all back there again now. Our apologies, we seem to lose you. I promised you I didn't press anything I shouldn't have pressed. I don't know what happened. Okay, so within business advisory services, I just don't know when we actually lost you all then, but what you have on the site at present is 3 areas which are basically introduction material. From later this week and over the next 2 months, we are placing the further information, and as you know we have webinars starting on Wednesday, and those webinars will run through to the end of August to familiarise you and your team on being able to deliver business advisory services to your clients. The first product which we are working on is on business health checks and then on business workshops. The other matter that I just want to show you is the leadership material. Leadership material has been produced under license for ESS BIZTOOLS by the Leadership Academy, headed by ex-Australian Army Colonel Peter McDougall. Depending on your, well, everyone that's on the webinar today is either a gold or silver subscriber, so you all get access to what is on the screen at present, the gold level access. You have these papers which have been prepared, so there is a index and commentary Peter McDougall's recommendation is that you work through the leadership material in-house before you conduct any sort of leadership training with clients. He is happy for you to contact him, and his contact details are included in the material. And Peter McDougall is conducting the Business Advisory Services webinar next Tuesday, tomorrow week, on leadership, because obviously to deliver business advisory services, it's going to be very important to be offering strong leadership within the accountancy firm. So you've got a wide range of top-class material on leadership. The Leadership Academy traditionally conducted leadership training courses for government employees and big business, and I convinced Peter McDougall to write a small business version of leadership that could be delivered by accountants all around Australia. So that's the material you have there, and I really do commend the leadership modules to you. We'll now just go back to the overall main menu on papers. As you can see, and hopefully you've already discovered, they're in sections, and within sections there are papers. So you click on the section name, and we will then receive a list of the papers that are in that section. So if you wish to view a paper, click on the name of the paper, and you receive an executive summary, and then you can download it if you wish, if that's the one you think will be suitable for that particular client. So what we have then is the choice of the paper or the PowerPoint slides. So we'll take the paper to start with. There's the paper. You badge it up the top there with your name, and you then have the material which you can send to your client. If you want the PowerPoint slides, there they are. You can badge them. They're ready to be used in your organisation. So thank you very much for subscribing to ESS BIZTOOLS. That's the end of this Cook's tour, if you like, of going through and looking what is contained within ESS BIZTOOLS. Are there any questions or comments? If at any time you have any query on how ESS BIZTOOLS operates, can you please contact us? And as I said earlier, if you have any suggestions of new material, please drop us a line. We really look forward to your comments at the end of August on the new Business Advisory Services material. We're working very hard on that because we really believe that you as accountants at the coalface need that material, especially with the ongoing competition of firms like 10X and some of the business consulting firms which are quite aggressive in the marketplace now, trying to establish consultancy businesses, basically to offer what we're referring to as being business advisory services. So once again, thank you very much for those of you who are new subscribers. To those of you who represent older subscribers, also thank you for participating today, and I hope you have a great day and all the best for this new financial year. Thank you. Goodbye.